Hey, welcome. So I've read about 50 books in 2023 last year, and one of the best tech books that I read was Hey, Move Along, Toothless. Was this book called Cloud FinOps, second edition by J.R. Storment and Mike Fuller. So this is a 400 plus page book. So I thought I will do a quick video discussing the key takeaways and summary from this book. So this book has a really good flow and structure, which I followed in my video as well. So we start off with an introduction to what FinOps is, and then we move on to the three phases of FinOps. I've also added timestamps for your quick reference. So hang around, there's also a bonus section, and with no further delay, let's get started.
If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it is a definition of what is FinOps. FinOps is an operational framework and cultural practice which maximizes the business value of cloud. The keywords being operational framework and something that maximizes the value of cloud. So I'll show you what this framework is in just about a minute. But before that, let's also understand why FinOps is important. And even before that, let's understand how it's related to cloud. With cloud, you get speed of delivery and innovation. The cloud computing market size is expected to reach 1.44 trillion USD by 2029. The primary advantage of cloud is the speed of delivery and innovation. Cloud is not about cost savings. You can start with an informed ignoring approach before you're ready to perform FinOps full-fledged. Another key ingredient for FinOps' success is that successful cloud and FinOps transformation require people to understand that transformation is everybody's job. So understanding the motivation of different personas matter here, as it is ultimately the people who make any change successful. These personas are included in the FinOps framework that I'll reveal in a few minutes. So I've also included some resources from the FinOps Foundation that you see here on the right bottom side. These are all from the FinOps Foundation website. These will help you speak the same language. By the way, FinOps Foundation is a project of the Linux Foundation and is a 16,000 strong community of FinOps professionals where FinOps practitioners can advance their careers through connections, best practices, and education. I'll add links to these as well. So before I reveal the framework, I think this is a good time in the video to understand how a cloud bill is generated. So the formula for cloud bill is what you see right here. It is usage multiplied by rate. So these are ultimately the two levers that affect your cloud bill. Now the first lever, usage, is to reduce what you use, and it's also called as cost avoidance, and you can do this by multiple ways, such as by terminating idle resources, right sizing resources that are oversized, or turning down resources that are not needed. So the second lever, rate, is to pay less for what you actually end up using. This is also called as rate reduction, and again there are multiple ways to do this, and you can take advantage of cloud billing constructs such as savings plan and committed use discounts. So the most successful FinOps practices, they centralize both of these levers. So they centralize using less, which is avoiding cost, and they also centralize paying less, which is reducing rate from a centralized level. So that's the last thing that I wanted to show you before I reveal the framework. And a word of caution, so don't get overwhelmed by the framework. We're just gonna discuss two key parts of the framework, which will give you a pretty good understanding of what FinOps is all about. The FinOps framework. FinOps is an infinite game. However, you can start simple. Whenever you're ready, start with a maturity assessment. FinOps maturity model has an easy approach of crawl, walk, run. FinOps Foundation has a detailed assessment guide that you can leverage, and they've also provided some nice sample KPIs that I'll walk you through. I come from the product management world, and we're all about the KPIs. So I especially found these sample KPIs interesting For instance, focus on the third bullet points for each of these three phases: crawl, walk, run. So forecast spend to actual spend starts off at 20% in the crawl stage, gradually decreases to 15% and to 12% in the walk and run stage respectively, meaning as you mature, your prediction gets more accurate. So use these as inspiration to get your KPI rolling. Put FinOps into practice. FinOps is performed by working iteratively on the framework capabilities through phases of inform, optimize, and operate. The FinOps lifecycle is a loop and is never really complete. We'll start off with the inform phase. Inform phase is all about giving the visibility and creating shared accountability for showing teams what they are spending on and why they're spending. So some popular activities in the inform phase include mapping spending data to business needs, setting tags, identifying any anomalies, creating scorecards, etc. To get started with inform phase, you can interview various stakeholders in the organization, such as what you want to report on, where the bulk of spending is coming from, and so on. Start with low-hanging fruits, rinse and repeat. Having a method to identify which cost belongs to which group will really help benchmark teams and compare them to each other. Also, a key takeaway here is that it's important to have a good tagging strategy. So this picture here shows how cloud resources are structured under the top three cloud providers: AWS, Azure, and GCP. It is also essential for businesses and stakeholders to secure adequate return on investment (ROI) without exceeding the organization's budget, while also correctly forecasting the spending and avoiding errors. Forecasting and budgeting should go hand in hand. Forecasting is predicting future, usually by a combination of historical spending and future plan evaluation. It's one of the hardest things to get right in FinOps. This book also touches on 4 types of forecasting models, such as machine learning, composite, static, and rolling. Forecast should be used to set budgets and should be communicated down to the engineering teams regularly. With that, we're moving on to optimize phase of FinOps lifecycle. Optimize phase is all about setting optimization goals for your organization. This includes optimizing discount offerings and commitment strategies that can help reduce overall cloud costs. It all starts with understanding the current state, and that's where the iron triangle of project management can help drive conversations about how these goals should align to savings versus speed of innovation. OKRs, or objective key results, can be used to set goals. So they are frameworks for defining and tracking objectives and their outcomes. I've often seen people get confused between OKRs and KPIs. So here's a quick note on the difference. OKRs are things that we want to change, whereas KPIs are our baseline health or indicators that we keep monitoring to ensure that our systems and products perform at a satisfactory level. I know I already showed you this cloud build formula, but let's now try to revisit this formula and optimize it. So let's see how we can optimize usage. Waste is any paid usage that could have been avoided by one of two ways: either by resizing resources, or by reducing the number of resources to better fit your applications. So that's how you can optimize usage. Let's see how we can optimize rate. Rate can be optimized by different compute pricing mechanisms, such as pay as you go, spot, reducing usage, commitment based discounts, etc. This book has a deep dive on various rate reduction mechanisms. But the most complex rate reduction mechanisms are using reserved instances, savings plan, committed use discounts, or CUDs, and flexible committed use discounts. To reap the most benefits from these reservations, you need to understand that all features and what modifications can be applied after a purchase. Due to its complexity, you may receive best results if you centralize the management of all of your reserved instances and commitment based discounts, so that individual teams can focus on reducing usage and not really worry about rates. On to the operate phase. This phase is all about building out processes to achieve optimization goals that you laid out in the previous optimize phase. As a recap, during inform phase, you identified resources that benefit from being turned off. During optimize phase, you measure the potential savings and set a target for how much you'd like to save. And during operate phase, you define the process of turning resources on and off, and you can enable automation of new processes applied. This is where scalability and replication is introduced. So automation is all about removing effort from repetitive tasks and help maintain consistency. For automation tools, deployment options are cloud native offerings, be it AWS, GCP, or Azure. It's often better to start here if you're like brand new. The second option is it can be self-built. The third option is that it can be third-party based product, but you can self-host it. And the fourth and final option is third-party software as a service, and this is where you should go if you want the easiest and quickest route. So whichever route you go, here's a pro tip. Security must always be a primary concern with any automation tooling. And the book is all about starting simple, and that's a recurring theme in this book. So do plenty of testing, start simple, don't build it all by yourself, and be sure to measure the performance and outcome. That wraps up the FinOps lifecycle phase of inform, optimize, and operate. Remember that this is not a one and done framework. This life cycle is a loop and is never really complete. We've just scratched the surface of what FinOps is. This is around the time when I help you understand the origins of the word Nirvana. So it's a Sanskrit word which signifies a state of peace, harmony, and happiness. So are you ready to understand what FinOps Nirvana would look like? It's that when accountability for spending is fully decentralized to engineering teams who make very efficient choices every day. The goal is getting to a place where organization, including architects, engineers, finance, and procurement teams, leadership, they can all make ongoing data decisions on cloud based on business value. So the way you do this is again to utilize the iron triangle of project management. Decisions are not focused on cloud costs, but on the benefits that it'll generate for an organization. There's no finish line when it comes to FinOps, so keep learning, sharing, and practicing. Here are my final thoughts on this book. This is a clean and well-researched book that's well worth your time. It's one of those rare books that you can both enjoy reading and pick up solid new ideas along the way. And the icing on the cake is that this book is written by two authors, J.R. Storment and Mike Fuller, who are FinOps industry leaders and the founders of FinOps Foundation, an inclusive and vibrant, dedicated community to advance the people of FinOps. So yes, the book walks the walk and talks the talk. 5 stars all the way. I promised you a bonus tip, so it's all about where to go from here. Now that you have a super basic understanding of FinOps, there are a lot of pathways to take. The FinOps Foundation offers a variety of ways to learn about the discipline depending on your level of maturity and time commitment. So I've included all of these links below. However, I have top 3 things that I recommend you do, because I'm all about start simple, don't get overwhelmed, just do the basics, right? Again, I am a big believer in keeping things simple. I recommend the below 3. Browse and understand the complete framework that we touched upon at the start of this discussion. If your curiosity grows, go read O'Reilly's Cloud FinOps 2nd edition book. Lastly, if you're super passionate and if you know this is something that you will be doing as part of your everyday job, definitely consider getting FinOps certified. I've included all links below. And with that, we reached the end of the video.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, or if you learned something new from it, or learned something useful from it, consider hitting that subscribe button. I will catch you again in another video. Till then, this is me and Toothless signing off from Devi's Lab. Bye.